Last summer I left for 12 days and came back to every single plant alive and thriving. No fancy gadgets, no expensive automatic system, just a few cheap supplies I already had in the house, and about 20 minutes of prep the night before I left. If you've ever come home from a trip to find drooping leaves, brown edges, or worse, a completely crispy fern sitting in bone-dry soil, you already know the gut punch. You asked a friend to water, they forgot, or you tried some hack you saw online, and half your collection still dried out while the other half was sitting in a swamp. It feels like you can't win. Here's the thing most people miss, and this is backed by research from the Royal Horticultural Society and Utah State University Extension. Your plants don't lose water at a fixed rate. Transpiration, the process by which water moves through a plant and evaporates from the leaves, speeds up or slows down based on light intensity, room temperature, humidity, airflow, pot size, and the type of plant. That means the real strategy isn't about adding more water, it's about slowing down how fast water leaves. And stay to the end, because there's one dead simple finishing move that costs absolutely nothing. No wicks, no reservoirs, no equipment, and it's the single most effective thing you can do for the majority of your plants before you walk out the door. Most people skip it entirely. I'm going to walk you through the exact timeline, the exact methods, the exact mistakes to avoid, and how to match the right strategy to the right plant so nothing gets overwatered and nothing dries out. I'll be honest, I used to do this completely wrong. Every time I had a trip coming up, I'd panic water everything the morning I left. I'm talking drenching every pot, filling every saucer and hoping for the best. I'd come back to yellow leaves and mushy stems on half my plants because I'd basically drowned them. And the ones that needed the most water, they still dried out because I hadn't addressed the actual problem. The villain here isn't your travel schedule, it's the one-size-fits-all advice that treats every plant the same. Just water everything before you go. Just stick them all in the bathtub. Just buy a self-watering pot. That kind of blanket advice ignores the fact that a pothos, a cactus, and a calathea have wildly different moisture needs. Treating them identically is a recipe for losing at least one of them. So let's talk about the mechanism, and this is the reframe that changed everything for me. You're not trying to water your plants while you're gone. You're trying to slow evaporation so the water you gave them before you left lasts longer. Think of it like a cooler full of ice. You wouldn't leave the cooler open in the sun and expect the ice to last a week. You'd close the lid, put it in the shade, and pack the ice tight together. Same logic. You're managing the environment, not the water supply. The RHS explains that warm, dry, brightly lit, or drafty conditions accelerate water loss from both the soil surface and the leaves. Cooler, moderately lit, more humid conditions slow it down dramatically. Once you understand that, the whole strategy clicks into place. All right, let's get into the exact blueprint. I've broken this into a timeline so you know exactly what to do and when. Step 1. 3 to 7 days before you leave, do an honest audit of your plants. Walk through your collection and sort them into 2 groups. Group 1 is your moisture-loving plants, ferns, calatheas, peace lilies, phytonias, anything that likes consistently moist soil. Group 2 is your drought-tolerant plants, succulents, cacti, snake plants, ZZ plants, anything that actually prefers to dry out between waterings. This matters because you're going to treat these 2 groups completely differently. Here's where people go wrong right away. They lump everything together and apply the same method. That's how you rot a cactus while dehydrating a fern. Also during this window, if you're planning to use a wick system, and I'll explain how in a moment, set it up now and test it. Don't wait until the night before. You need at least 2 to 3 days to confirm the wick is actually drawing water into the soil at a reasonable rate. The RHS specifically recommends testing before departure because wicks can slip out of position, reservoirs can empty faster than expected, and some potting mixes don't wick well. Step 2. The day before you leave, do your prep work. Remove any dead leaves, spent flowers, or dying foliage. This isn't just cosmetic. Dead material can attract pests and fungal issues while you're gone, and you won't be there to catch it early. Check for any signs of pests now. A small spider mite problem you ignore before a 2-week trip can become an infestation by the time you're back. Next, move your plants. This is critical. Pull everything away from hot windows, south-facing sills, radiators, heating vents, and cold drafts. You're looking for a spot with bright indirect light or moderate light, not darkness, and not blazing afternoon sun. A room that stays around 65 to 72 degrees Fahrenheit is ideal. Utah State University Extension notes that light intensity and temperature are two of the biggest factors in how quickly soil dries out. By simply relocating your plants to a cooler, less intensely lit spot, you can slow water loss significantly, in some cases by days. If you have a subscription to this channel, you already know this next part, but if you're finding this useful, hit subscribe. I put out practical, research-backed plant care like this every single week, and it's all designed to save you time, money, and dead plants. All right, let's keep going. Step 3. The morning of your departure, or the night before if you're leaving early, water thoroughly. And I mean thoroughly. Water each pot slowly until you see water flowing freely from the drainage holes. Then wait 5 minutes and water again. This ensures the entire root ball is saturated, not just the top inch. After the second watering, let each pot drain completely and then empty every saucer. Do not leave your pots sitting in standing water. This is critical. Standing water around the roots promotes root rot. And according to Utah State Extension, overwatering is one of the leading causes of houseplant decline, not underwatering. Step 4. Set up your moisture systems, but only for the plants that need them. For your moisture-loving Group 1 plants, here are your best options depending on how long you'll be gone. For trips of 1 week or less, a deep watering the night before combined with relocating to a cooler spot is often enough for most healthy plants in appropriately sized pots. The RHS confirms that most houseplants tolerate a few days without attention, if watered thoroughly before departure. For trips of 1 to 2 weeks, set up a wick system. Take a piece of cotton string, a cotton shoelace, or a capillary cord, something absorbent. Place one end about 2 to 3 inches deep into the potting mix, and trail the other end into a container of water placed next to or slightly below the pot. The water will travel up the wick by capillary action and slowly moisten the soil. 1 wick per small to medium pot, 2 for larger pots. Use a container that holds at least a quart of water for a single medium pot. Test it for 2 to 3 days first. Another option for multiple small pots is capillary matting. Lay a piece of absorbent matting, you can buy it for a few dollars at any garden centre, on a flat surface. Wet the mat thoroughly. Set your pots on the mat and drape one end of the mat into a sink or tray filled with water. The mat stays wet and the pots draw moisture up through the drainage holes. If you're using clay pots, make sure to soak them first so the clay doesn't just absorb all the moisture from the mat. Now here's the mistake most people make with these systems. They set up wicks and reservoirs for every plant, including their succulents, cacti, and snake plants. Don't do this. Your Group 2 drought-tolerant plants should get a thorough watering before you leave and nothing else. No wicks, no reservoirs, no plastic covers. These plants are designed to store water in their leaves and stems. Keeping them constantly moist for 2 weeks is far more dangerous than letting them go dry. The RHS is clear on this. Cacti and succulents should not be placed into a constantly wet vacation setup. Step 5. For trips longer than about 2 weeks, recruit a plant sitter. No wick system or small reservoir is reliably safe for that long, especially for thirsty plants, seedlings, or flowering specimens. But here's the key. Don't just say water my plants. Leave simple written instructions. Tell them to check the top inch of soil with their finger. If it's dry, water until it drains. If it's still moist, leave it alone. Soil moisture, not a calendar, should drive the decision. This one instruction prevents 90% of plant sitter disasters. Now, here's the finishing trick I promised you at the top. It costs nothing, takes about 5 minutes, and it's the single most broadly useful thing you can do. Group your plants together. Seriously, just cluster them. When plants are grouped closely, each one releases moisture through transpiration, and that moisture raises the local humidity around the entire group. It's a natural humidity dome. Research on transpiration from the RHS confirms that higher humidity around the leaves directly reduces the rate of water loss. You're essentially turning your plants into each other's life support system. Place the group in a bathroom, a kitchen, or any room that tends to hold a bit more humidity. Keep them on a tray with a layer of pebbles if you want, not sitting in water, but near it. The evaporation from the tray adds another small humidity boost. This one move can extend how long your plants stay hydrated by several days, and it works for almost every tropical houseplant. One honest caveat: grouping works beautifully for tropical plants, But don't pack them so tightly that air can't circulate at all. Stagnant, constantly wet conditions can invite fungal problems. Leave a couple inches of space between pots so air can still move. Let's recap the whole system. 3 to 7 days out, audit and sort your plants and test any wicks. The day before, clean up, check for pests, and relocate everything to a cooler, moderately lit spot. Right before you leave, water deeply, drain completely, and empty every saucer. Set up wicks or capillary mats only for moisture-loving plants. Leave drought-tolerant plants alone. For trips over 2 weeks, get a plant sitter with written soil moisture instructions. And the finishing move, group your tropical plants together to create a natural humidity microclimate that slows water loss for free. That's the whole system. It works whether you have 5 plants or 50, and it costs almost nothing. If you found this useful, subscribe. I put out one practical, science-backed plant fix like this every week, and I never recommend anything I haven't tested or can't back up with real research. Now drop a comment and tell me, how long is your next trip, and which plant are you most worried about leaving behind? I read every single one,